Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence.com. I'm Mike, and this is a KWZ ink. Actually, this is just a KWZ box. That's a KWZ ink. This is Warsaw Dreaming, and it comes to you courtesy of Dromgoole's pens in Houston. This is the place where my wife, Audrey, got her very first fountain pen, was Dromgoole's. It's kind of our local fountain pen shop, and a great place run by great folks, so thanks very much for giving me this bottle of ink to try out. So, Warsaw Dreaming, as you can see here on the label, is meant to invoke the feeling of looking at that night sky and seeing that super, super dark like blue-black action there. So let's see how this looks on a page. I will say that I got some like little shards of bullshit on my hand. It's been a little while since we found some of those from an ink like this. This is a sheeny ink in a certain sense, so I'm guessing not too surprised, but my hands were pretty black, so it washed off nicely. All right, so this is what the ink looks like on paper. And I think it's pretty darn good. Let's get a little closer there. Yeah, there we go. All right. So, as you can see, Warsaw Dreaming is really dark. And actually, it's even darker on the coloring card, which is this one right here. I could not find my original, and so I made a new one. And this is, I promise you, dry. I actually ran my finger over that little shiny dot there. That's just a drop of ink that I just let go ahead and dry on the page here. And it's not smearing, which is kind of nice. A lot of times sheeny inks like this will just smear like crazy, but this one is just a sheeny, shiny ink, but it sheens black, which is dope. All right, so as I say here on my written review, it's not exactly dry. I was using it in two different pens. Those are these pens. Get them in the frame here. Good job, Mike. 3/4 professional as usual. There. This is the Guilloche Vanishing Point from a little while ago. It has a medium nib that's kind of stubby right now. I had it ground. And then this one is an MCM pens, Matthew Martin, and he makes really cool pens. And this has a medium Yovo nib in it. Neither of these are super wet. I would say this one is quite a lot wetter than this one. This nib has always run a little bit on the dry side. So from those pens, I had no problems really. I had a couple of hard starts, sort of. Like, it's a little bit hesitant, or reticent is the word I like to use, when I was using the Vanishing Point. Never had a problem with this medium Yovo nib because this ink is not dry at all, but it is a little bit on the thick side. KWZ makes some fairly saturated inks, and this is one of those. Also, it does have a bit of a scent. It's got the telltale KWZ like slightly vanilla scent, although it is much more noticeable in a bunch of their other inks, like honey and some of those, which you can really smell for a long time. This one, I didn't notice unless I was directly smelling the bottle. So there you go. That's your scent profile. Qualities, it's got a nice shine to it. I call it a sheen, sort of, but really it's kind of a shine. And as you can see here, it's actually a super dark blue. It's not really a blue-black, although it masquerades it's not really a black, although it masquerades as one. And like, you don't see any blue on the coloring card, you just see this black. So in my normal writing, especially with these two nibs, which are both, it turns out, medium-ish, I didn't see any of that blue. If you have one of these like really broad and maybe like a little bit drier nibs, you'll probably get some of these hints of blue in there, but it's a little night sky-y if you ask me. And also you can see that shine there in the swatch. So yeah, pretty darn cool. And how did it perform on the crappy paper? Well, it did pretty well, actually. This is that 20-pound Staples paper with the 30% recycled content. This stuff is pretty bad, and this does okay on it, really. You get a few little feathers here and there. Not a huge deal, but a little bit of feathering, a little bit of spreading, and just a little bit of bleed through. Just a little, not a ton, but some. But yeah, the feathering and is like, it's minor, but you can see it in some of the straight lines. Not a lot, but yeah, it's there, so we got to talk about it. All right. As I say down here in the sort of written portion, both of these I think look very nice. It's a nice formal ink. It's real dark, very deep. It's barely blue, as I said. We'll do a little water test. I'll show you the chromatography, and we'll look at it on some other papers and that sort of thing as we go. And I've got some other things to compare it to on coloring cards. So let's go ahead and do the water test right quick, and then get to those other things. Where's my water? Here it is. All right, there we go. I'll go ahead and say here that this ink is in a 60 ml bottle. That's what this guy is. And it's $15 wherever you find it online. I got this from Dromgoole's, obviously. And man, some of this is really swirling away. Let's give it a sec. Let me grab a paper towel. All right. So let's go ahead and not make a mess, Mike. There we go. There we go. That's good. We're blotting. We're not wiping. We're blotting. Yeah, good. Good. All right. Well, really interesting. You got some chromatography right here. This is a little hint of what we're going to see. In fact, I've got more blue here on this page than I do on my chromatography sheet. Or strip, I guess I should say. Let's go ahead and put both of these on there, because why not? So this one is the just fast and dirty paper towel chromatography. This one is the slightly slower coffee strip. Coffee filter strip, and this one mostly has blacks, a little hint of blue up here at the top, and then sort of grayish down here, but you get like a nice light blue showing up in here. But if you don't do a chromatography on this, you're probably not going to see that. It's probably going to be like a real dark black, which is, I mean, kind of nice. And we're going to compare it to some of the darkest blacks, and I think it's up there with them, honestly. But you can see here that water resistance, like not really. You're going to be able to see these lines and such. In fact, actually, if I'd wiped this away, it might have even been better, because you would have gotten some of this mess out of the way. But yeah, this is not particularly water resistant, although your work will remain. It'll just be a mess. Okay, let's look at this on a couple of other papers right quick. Here we have it in a currently inked notebook. This is wheat straw paper. Some good stuff for fountain pens. And here it is from the Guilloche and from the MCM TI fountain pen here. And in both cases, it just looks black on this paper. I don't get any of that blue action. In fact, I didn't really know this was a blue until I did chromatography on it and sort of saw it in that swatch there. But yeah, it's a super dark blue. All right, so there's that one. And then here on the ink journal, this is Tomoe River's ink journal, or I guess ink journal with Tomoe River, I should say. Where is it? Could have sworn it was on this page. Nope, it's not. Let's see, where is it? There it is. I was one page off. And here, again, it looks pretty darn black. Up here, you get like some tints of blue. And you get a little bit of like this shine off of all of these papers, which is real nice. But it had no problem writing on here, which is very nice. Sometimes inks have a little more trouble writing on Tomoe River with some nibs just because it's very smooth. But this one had no problems at all. Like a nice shiny sheen there. Okay, let's look at some color comparisons, and then that'll be it. All right, so here is Warsaw Dreaming here on the Colodex card, and I always put where I got the ink down here. This is from Dromgoole's. And then let's go ahead and stick it next to a really dark blue black. So this is Robert Oster's Thunderstorm, which is an ink that is very dark. I've done a review on this one, and it mostly looks black, although it's definitely less black than Warsaw Dreaming, as you can see here. Warsaw Dreaming, man, just sucks in the light. It's great as far as being a black. It's not all that great at being a dark blue, I don't think. It's much darker than this. Whole different timbre. And then let's give it some, let's do some other blacks. Here is Monteverde's Coal Noir, which is a very nice dark black. Coal and Noir. It's got two black things in the name. You know it's got to be dark. I think Warsaw Dreaming might be darker. It just might be. Then we've got Kyonoto's Nuribaro, which is an ink that another one that I think is actually a blue black. You can see some blues in here, but another super dark one. And I think they're pretty comparable, really. I think Warsaw Dreaming is actually darker than Nuribaro. It doesn't have the same kind of sheen. This one has like an almost coppery sheen, whereas Warsaw Dreaming just sheens basically black, which black sheen is pretty cool. How much more black could it be? None. So there we go. Also, I gotta say, Nuribaro, this writes like pants. It is always hard starting. It is dry. I had nothing but problems with that one. So between these two, get that KWZ. Also, it's a lot cheaper, so it's got that going for it. Another super dark black is Colorverse Sunspot, which is in the same sort of area as Nuribaro, except it's not a blue. It's definitely a black, and it's got a little bit of sheen in there. Again, I think Warsaw Dreaming might be blacker. And then Ultimate Black, I think, as far as getting a dark black is Aurora Black. One of my favorite black inks. Works in every pen every time, unless it's a gusher, because this is a very wet ink. But these two, I mean, I think they are very similarly black. Although Warsaw Dreaming might actually be darker. It's kind of hard to say, but they're down there. So, Warsaw Dreaming, super, super dark blue-black. Reminds you of that black night sky. I think a little bit of blue down here. That's actually kind of what the chromatography looked like when you get right down to it. So yeah, that's pretty cool right there. Anyway, check this out. Find yours at Dromgoole's. Thank you again to the Dromgooles for giving me this for review. You can find me on all the social medias as Ink Dependence on Instagram, at Madison on the Twitters, and you can find my shop at inky-d.com for, I don't know, pen rests and all that kind of jazz, stickers and whatnots. All right, I will see y'all around the internets. Peace out.